Okay. So getting back to convoy, um, typically when I convoy, I figure 50 miles per hour. Um, so 300 miles be 12 hours. No, nah, 6 hours would be 6 hours. I think that um, it really depends on the situation. How bad of a situation are we talking about? Are we talking about, regional extreme weather disaster or true post-apocalyptic event? So, I mean, it might take you 12 to 24 hours to actually get in place, to then go into the city to extract the people that need to get extracted, then get back out, and then roll back out again. Um, but 300 miles is a hell of a long way to walk, to turn around and walk back. So I would definitely be looking at vehicles. Um, one thing that could certainly help you, well, two things actually. One is night vision, operate in the darkness where you can see, but people can't see you by and large. So certainly something to consider there. And the other is a drone or drones, having a capable drone operator with you so that you can basically be your own advance party, gather your own intel, and then make the appropriate determinations about how you move and when you move and where you move in real time. So having air assets to do this would be really good. All the basic things. I think there should be, to the best of your ability, standardization of weaponry. This is more or less a military operation, as I see it. Um, you're doing an extraction, um, and you don't want a firefight. You should have competent medical personnel with you. Everybody should know basic medical, and then you should have a couple of people that are more advanced, one on the field team and one at the fob at a minimum. Um, you should have redundancy on the medical, redundancy on the commo, redundancy on the vehicle operations. There should be interoperability of the vehicles to the best of your ability. Um, and then speed, surprise, and violence of action are your friends. Get in, do the job, and get out. Don't, no scope creep. What? Well, we found these people and they brought 8 of their friends with them. We don't have room for 8 of their friends. And that's something that you need to figure out. Now they need to understand this. Don't bring the neighborhood. There's 4 of you. We're coming to get 4 of you. There are only enough seats on the school bus for 4 of you. So don't tell anybody else. Don't bring anybody else because we're only bringing 4 of you back or whatever, right? And that's for you and your team to work out. But you definitely need to understand that. I like having the vehicles because to be able to carry the food, the water, the excess fuel or extra fuel you're going to need. Um, it's just a lot. Now, can you walk 300 miles back? Yeah, I mean, a fit person carrying a combat load, it's going to take you a couple of weeks to do it. A kid, forget it. It might take you 6 to 8 weeks to get back from the city back to wherever your SHTF retreat is. So these are all things that I would be planning for sure. These are all different variables, and I would do an area study for sure of the city and your routes in and out. Um, Setting up rally points, we talked about that. Transitioning through states with unfriendly laws against the Second Amendment. Gray man, bro. I'm about to be embarking on a trip to a place that does not love the Second Amendment. I'm driving there. I'm not flying. I'm bringing all the things that I would normally have with me, but I'm not bringing them in, Rothko multicam or, Condor Coyote Brown or Sojourn Gear Olive Drab. I'm bringing them in Coleman Green and, you know, plaid and red and, all the things. And so what's that? I, I'm losing the quote and I won't butcher it, but basically, conscientious objector at this point. If I have to extract a bunch of people that I love from a bad place, I'm not worried about the legalities of whether or not there's an AR-15 under my back seat and a Glock on my hip, because there's going to be at a minimum, there's going to be that. So, and then you want, that takes this to an interesting place too, is everybody on your team, can they actually hit the paper plate at 50 yards with their rifle? Can they actually shoot? And have they done it recently? Because shooting is a perishable skill. I shoot pretty damn well. Although recently I've started shooting with brethren from Shofar Mountain, and I was frankly embarrassed by how I did the last time I shot, or the first time I shot out there. It was not good. It was better than, I don't know. It was not good by my standards for sure. So anyway, are the people you bring in, can they actually do the things? Is that going to be an issue for you and yours to, you don't want to create more problems by assembling the team that you're bringing than you would solve. Is everybody you're bringing squared away to do this? Let's see. How to serve the landscape as you move. How to survey the landscape as you move. Convoy tactics, man. Shelter in place in the heart of the city. No, we talked about that. Rally points. Yes, we talked about that. Transitioning through states. Yep. What supplies to bring into it in addition to typical bug out pack. I think being as light as possible is your friend on this. Food. I would have plenty of food in the vehicles, water as well. But then I would also have, your rucks set up to carry food and water and purify water and filter water. And then possible food procurement. But we all know how I feel about food procurement on the fly. It's not great. So I think that the vehicles are the best way to go here. And then from there, if you have to hoof it back, and I think 2 weeks is what you're looking at. If you make 20 miles a day, it's 15 days, 300 miles. If you make 20 miles a day, 15 days. Can you carry 15 days worth of rations? You can, but you're going to have a heavy pack. So I'd rather you had all that in the trucks, and to get there as quickly as possible. Get in. The packages you're extracting are moving this way. You're moving this way. Rendezvous at, Rally Point Charlie. Cool. Which you have on your maps, which you can navigate to with compass and map, as well as GPS. Use your commo in between the two teams. Okay, we've got the packages. Cool. We're extracting. We're moving back out to the fob. We get here. We fold the camo netting back up off of the vehicles. We hop in the vehicles at 0300. We're going to move out. We move out, and we're driving at night with no lights because we've got our nods on. And we're going to get as far out of the city as we possibly can until 0725, when we know the sun is going to be coming up because we did our homework, at which point we're going to get over off the side of the road before the sun comes up and survey the area and decide, do we move forward or do we rest and then move back out the next night, so forth and so on. So speed, surprise, violence of action, and there's a lot of coordination that goes into this. So I would definitely have a plan. Convoy tactics for sure, commo for sure, firepower and mobility for sure. Can you actually do the things with your weapons? Do you have the medical? Are the packages going to be able to move? A lot of this is dependent upon them as well. The better they do their job, the better you're going to be able to do your job. So getting them from where they are to where they need to be, moving towards you at the drop of a hat, is absolutely required. And then what are your indicators for it's go, go, go time? If I can't pick up the phone and call you, you need to understand if then. If this happens, then you go. The end. The end. So I would get all that out on paper, print it out, bound in and basically an operations plan. And then, like I said, I'd have digital forms as well. Certainly consider using things like drones. I think vehicles are an absolute must on this. Otherwise, you're going to have a very long walk. And frankly, the survivability of walking 300 miles, extracting, and walking back out again, I think is really low. So vehicles are a must. Do an area study. Do an area study of the area you're going into. Just a good example of things that you need to be looking at are like the real streets with a Z on the end of it. Just Google it. We'll show you all of the gang territories and disputed territories in major metropolitan areas in North America. Oh, don't want to go through that neighborhood. Right? That's another thing that we look at when we do bug out plans of prosperity is let's not go down that road because that's controlled by the Crips. And then, but see if we go over here, that's MS-13 territory. So how about instead of doing that, we're going to do this? Or maybe on a map, you look at it and go, that doesn't make sense. Why do this when you could just do this? Oh, because that takes us right through the heart of the Crips territory, and we're not interested in that. Okay, so things like that. Also understanding in times of chaos, there's a potential for all those areas that are controlled by bad guys of pressing out, taking advantage of opportunity. So speed, surprise, violence of action. Again, if you were here, this is the kind of thing that we would spend all day on. And you're not here, and we don't have all day. So I'm trying to hit the high points here. And I think that this should be a help to anybody considering an extraction of people that they love from a bad place back to a good place. But there's a lot of logistics that go into it. Remember the rule of the 7 P's. Proper previous planning prevents piss poor performance. So plan the crap out of this and understand that no plan survives first contact with the enemy. So it's all going to go to hell in a handbasket anyway. But by understanding what the plan is, when the plan goes to hell, we can enact the basic tenets of the plan to achieve the mission. So clearly define the mission. We're going to get 4 people from this place to this place. To do that, we're going to use these things in this way. Cool. And then everything that doesn't support the mission, pitch it. If it gets fancy or complicated, pitch it. Right? So when it all goes to hell, the goal is to complete the mission, get these people out again. So if the plan falls apart, cool, we can take the core tenets of the plan and assemble them on the fly to improvise, adapt, and overcome and achieve the objective, get these people out where they need to be. So, man, I hope this helps. At least gave you something to think about. And I know I'm pretty bold with the whole don't be there statement, but really, to the best of our ability, don't be there. And I get it, man. I get it. I have friends and brothers and relatives all over the country who are in less than ideal situations, and I count it a blessing that I'm not. Subject to change on a whim based upon the Father's will. So, but the less we have to subject ourselves to things like that, the better. And so I would make sure also that your team understands, like this is a really good talking point, and then we'll put a bow on this thing, that your team, and for those of y'all assembling a new team or looking for new people to bring onto your existing team, that, hey, yeah, there's 2 of us. This is me and my wife, Susie, but my ex-wife, LaQuisha, I don't know why that name popped into my head, but my ex-wife, LaQuisha, lives in Dallas with 3 of my kids, and we're going to go get them. I am going to go get them, at least my 3 kids, when the balloon goes up. This is non-negotiable. Now, here's all my assets and all my skill sets, but when the balloon goes up, I'm getting my kids. And so I would be looking for y'all to help me get my kids. That's something that I really think should be understood by everybody first and foremost before we enter into these deep interpersonal relationships. Because I think if you're upfront with people about that, you're going to find people say, yeah, I get it, bro. I'll help you. And help you might be, I'm going to get you to the doorstep of the city. And then I'm hanging back here with the trucks. Help you might be, I'm going to help you put the plan together. Or help you might be, man, I want to be second in the stack right behind you when it's time to go into this building. Everybody's going to have different degrees of buy-in because it's not their kids, it's your kids. And so you can't hold it against them if their level of comfortability is to drive to the outskirts of the city and stay with the trucks. Awesome, right? It's the same as a business owner getting mad at the employees that they're not as bought in as the owner. They're never gonna be. They're the employees. They have far less to gain from it than you do. And so whatever help you can get, whatever competent help you can get will be a blessing. So let's see here. C. Michael Martell, thank you for being here, brother. And I hope this was of use to you. Shalom.